Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon or good evening. This is and this is Formcast episode 120, 19? I'm not sure anymore, and I'm never sure, so that will never change. I hope you're doing well. It's been a whirlwind of a last week. Easter weekend, family time, just hanging out. Streams are going absolutely amazing. And I'm hit with this family emergency recently where my family is just so stressed out. My grandmother, unfortunately, had a bit of a heart episode, I'm going to say, because we're not sure just yet if it was a heart attack. She's 91. She just turned 91 the weekend before last. Today's Monday, the 21st, so not this past weekend, but the one before that. We celebrated with some family, 91 years old. Last Friday, just before the weekend for Easter, she indicated she showed signs of a heart attack after she was rushed to the hospital when she was found on the floor of her apartment. And sorry to start this episode with something so deep, but I was wanting to talk about, streams and how it's been going, but this has just been on my mind. And what happened was my uncle from out of town, one of her sons, tried calling her around 7 o'clock on Friday night, no answer. So he calls my mom, who's local, obviously. She's the only child that my grandma has here locally. Says, hey, I can't get a hold of mom. So she tries calling, not able to get a hold of her. So then my grandma lives in a retirement home, not a nursing home, not an old age home where they take care of people and check up on them regularly. It's more a independent living where their meals are distributed and medications are distributed, but nothing else. So my mom tries calling the front staff, and they do end up finding her in her apartment on the ground after having fallen. So we just assumed she fell, tripped on something, no clue the cause, loss of balance, who knows, and hit the back of her head, her face, her knees, and she was there for a little while because the not to be graphic or anything, but the blood that was on the ground, which when you hit the back of your head or on your skull anywhere, there's always a lot more blood than usual, even if it's a little cut. So it looks a lot worse than what it may be, but it was all dry from what we were told by the workers. So she was probably there for a little while. So she was rushed to the hospital Friday evening. I spent many hours there till nearly 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when after at that point she had tests done, and the doctors indicated that, yes, there's signs of heart stress and potentially a heart attack causing the fall, I would assume. So with that being said, the entire Easter weekend that was filled with great plans of hanging out with family and being lighthearted and fun was still that to a certain extent, but always with the back of my mind. And obviously my mom being in the hospital, I spent part of my day yesterday in the hospital to alleviate my mom from having to be there all the time. And my grandma's in good spirits. She's doing well, but she's lost a lot of strength, and it's absolutely amazing how before falling she can get up on her own, walk to the dining room in her retirement home and be self-sufficient, and to the point where now she's got trouble getting up off the chair, and walking is a bit wobbly. So she said she's afraid to fall again, of course, which I don't blame her, but the recovery is just so wildly different at 91 than it is at 41, for example, or 51 or 61 or 71 for that instance. So I posted a tweet the other day of saying 1 minute you're celebrating absolute successful moments on with my stream and my career and my work, and the next it's full panic mode and nothing else matters but her health. So life's been throwing a couple curveballs in certain ways that I wasn't necessarily expecting it. She's my last grandparent alive, and I lost my grandpa, her husband, 4 years ago, roughly, just over now, back in 2021, after he had fallen and broke his hip and had surgery, never recovered, and unfortunately just everything starts failing, and infections and this and that and dementia and whatnot. So a bit of trauma reliving. I don't know if you would call it PTSD. I don't think that's the case in this for me, but it's just being at the hospital taking care of her like I took care of him for a year and a half before he ended up passing away. It's just reliving that is very hard on the heart, very hard on the brain. So, anyways, that happened this past week, and that's definitely something that I bring to stream with me. Last night, so I was gone on Saturday, out of town visiting some family for Easter who lives just about an hour and a half away. So I went to visit them, and then I came back Sunday morning. And as soon as I got back, I got home, I showered, I ate a quick little thing, and then I went to the hospital for a few hours. And then we had a dinner last night with some family as well, with my mom hosting, but she was obviously stressed out and, trying to concentrate on having fun and hanging out and being relaxed is tough when your mom's in the hospital. So with that being said, the weekend was busy. It was tiring. It was exhausting. So last night I streamed anyways. I hate canceling streams and rescheduling and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sitting there and I end up being honest with the stream, and I said I didn't. 99% of me did not want to stream today. I just wanted to. I started at 7:30. I just wanted to sit on the couch, maybe watch a show, and then just go to bed early. I was exhausted. I was tired. And I guess part of the topic of today is not only just updating on the last week and what's happened and how I've dealt with that, but part of the thing is there's always going to be stress and things happening in your life. And if you're a full-time streamer, or if you're just a streamer who does it for a hobby but wants to stick to the schedule no matter what happens and what's going on, is that being vulnerable and honest with the stream community and those who were watching last night was probably one of the best ideas or best choices. Not an idea. It was not an idea, but it was just the best choice I could make at the time, because everyone was supportive. Everyone was absolutely 100% supportive in saying, if you need time, just take it. Like, we'll be here when you come back. Like, family first, all that kind of stuff. But it also allowed me just to vent with people who have an unbiased opinion of what's happening, or an unbiased thought process. When you share things with family and this that are also going through the stress that you're going through and the trauma of having the family member together in the hospital, it's a bit different when you share, thoughts and that kind of stuff. So it was a moment of major vulnerability, because it led to my kind of dark moments in my life, and when my grandpa was in the hospital and how I dealt with that, and the fact that no matter how tired I was going to stream, and I did, and it just ended up being an absolutely amazing stream, and we had a lot of fun. But those moments and those conversations in stream, when the streamer can be vulnerable and human and show that they are fully transparent in what they're feeling, and the fact that, yeah, this guy didn't want to be on camera tonight. He didn't want to have to speak for 4 hours straight. He didn't want to talk to anybody, but he did anyways. And because he did, it brought people closer. And I think that's what today's little episode is going to be about, is just the fact that even when you're not feeling it, or even when life is throwing you curveballs, you still got to swing, right? And I have this saying, and I don't even know where I got it from, but I've told a few people this, and it's, life can throw you curveballs, but if you know anything about baseball, is that curveballs can still be hit for home runs. And you have to swing for the fences every single time you get a curveball. You can't avoid it. You can't turn your back. You can't look away. You have to face it head on. And it'll come different ways, of course, as they do. And they're very twisty and slippery and hard to get a grasp of, but you have to hit it head on. So whether it's someone that's in the hospital and you're going through the stresses of that, or you lost your job or family, your relationship or money or whatever it may be, or your own health, for example, you got to hit that head on, and you have to truly believe that. So going live last night and being transparent and vulnerable led to some really good conversations, not only from people who have been around for a long time, but people who have just found the stream as of a couple days, and they're already indicating feeling comfortable enough to share things, and safe and just happy and together and connected to people. And if, as a streamer, there's one thing that I should tell you to really focus on, is make sure that people feel connected, and that their time is worth it. Make sure they feel worth your time and your attention and your discussions and your conversations, and yeah. And hug your loved ones. You got to hug them, because you just never know. You just never know. So it's been a stressful week with that. But at the same time, on the other side of that giant ladder. Streams are absolutely insane and currently ranked 227th on the platform for Twitch for active subs. Now, we sit at over 4,300 right now, but if you add the nearly 200 active subs I have over on Kick, another streaming platform, right? Then total active subs are absolutely insane. So with that being said, we're really successful and really having fun right now in streams. Life's throwing those curveballs, but we're swinging for the fences. And I encourage you to do the same. So thank you so much for listening. I know today was kind of a bit all over, but so is my brain, and I like to keep these as real as possible. So thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. By the way, if you've never been to a stream and you somehow happen to be listening to the podcast, we're live every single day except for Mondays. Would love to have you. So we'll catch you next time. Cheers.